Hello there, welcome to the next instalment of our Dearne Valley Railway story in South Yorkshire, and this is part 4. And today I'm starting from Goldthorpe and I'm working my way up towards Grimethorpe.
Just a quick recap, the Dearne Valley Railway was completed in 1909 and ran from Blackcar Junction near Doncaster to Brierley Junction near Barnsley. It carried passengers between 1912 and 1951, but otherwise was more widely used for coal. The line closed as a through route for freight in the 1960s. In previous episodes, we've been following the route all the way from Doncaster.
So that active railway line, that's the line between Sheffield and Leeds. So if you carry on straight on the line at Swinton, Bolton-on-Dearne, up towards Wakefield, Westgate, that line, that's that one. So that's the main line. So that station down there that you can see, that only opened in the late 1980s, I believe. The original station at Goldthorpe was on our Dearne Valley Railway, and it was just in this housing estate over here, and that was called Goldthorpe and Thurnscoe.
I just need to correct myself there. The Goldthorpe and Thurnscoe station was actually on the other side of that live railway line.
Before we move on from the centre of Goldthorpe, there's just one more thing I want to show you, and that's a disused. It's just up from, wow, that is really a mess down there. That is an absolute tip. So that's our disused railway line. That's not the main Dearne Valley line. If you remember, in that last video I mentioned there was a spur, there was a branch that went off towards Edlington Colliery, and also the main railway line that we've just crossed. Now there are photographs from, look at it, that's in that direction. So this section of line is not being closed that long. There are photographs from as recent as the 1990s of trains coming round that curve and under that bridge.
And here's the map of Goldthorpe. I've put an arrow to the Dearne Valley Railway through line. The Dearne Valley line is green. The purple line is the current active railway line, and the orange one was the Hull and Barnsley Railway. If you remember, in the last episode we talked about the coal trains in the later days of Goldthorpe Colliery. This is the line that they had used to access the current railway network, and this is the line that passed under the little bridge that we're stood on now.
And I did say on my last video, didn't I, how shocked I was just at the amount of broken glass and litter and fly tipping there was around this area. And it looks like that theme's going to continue today, the first part anyway. So just to clarify what I was saying, the Dearne Valley Railway crossed over the active railway line literally at the end of the station platforms. But we can pick it up just in front, the other side of the A635 now. And I think this might be where our trackbed picks up again. So we've just walked underneath the A635 main road. That's a fairly new road just up the top there, and that's dissecting the old route of the railway. So I need to try and get up on that banking somehow, don't I? So as you'll have seen by now, I've started in Goldthorpe, heading up ultimately towards Brierley Junction. Today I think we're going to get as far as Grimethorpe. Now it's all dependent on the weather today. It's just rain all week this week, I've got a little bit of a window this morning, so we'll get as far as we can before that rain starts to set in. So that's the track bed on top of that big embankment. I've come down here because there's a little bit more to see down here, to be honest, from what I can gather from just poking my head up. But a lovely little culvert, look, just going under the track, going under the railway embankment. So that's the railway embankment up there, and we've got the remains of some bridge abutments here. Now we have got a bit of a junction here, a little bit of a triangle going off, so I'll show you what's happening with the use of a couple of old maps now.
We can see the triangle here, and we're currently at the western point, labelled Thurnscoe Junction.
It's going to be a muddy one today. All it seems to have done is rain. Right, I'm on top of those abutments. So from what I can tell from the maps, this is where the line separates. So going off in that direction, down to back down to Goldthorpe, in that direction, going off to towards that active main line and the Hickleton main colliery. And this is that northern part of that triangle. Just walking down here. Over there you can see on the right hand side is the village of Thurnscoe. I think it's Thurnscoe. I was pronouncing it Thurnscoe on the last video, wasn't I? As it's written, really. But as we know round here, things aren't pronounced the way they're written, are they? So we're leaving those abutments, that triangle, that junction behind us there. The banking on this side of those abutments is completely missing. So just passing housing estate. It's on the edge of Thurnscoe on the right hand side there. Doesn't really resemble much of a railway line, this last section since Thurnscoe Junction. Very undulating. Not sure if that's due to subsidence or if it's just been reprofiled when these houses were put in. Got a little bridge here. Looks like we've got some of the coping blocks missing, doesn't it? There. Nice little red brick arch bridge there, isn't it? Just got Thurnscoe Dyke, I believe it is, just running alongside of us there. Just as it starts raining. Lovely. Thought it might be a little bit too much to ask to get through today without getting wet. Another little bridge just going over. It's like it's just a farm access, that, doesn't it? And this is Billingly Lane Bridge. Yeah, you can see, I don't know if it's coming out on camera, such a different levels, isn't there? I think it's definite subsidence, that. I'm not sure if that's the original top or not. Look, there's some holes there where I'm guessing there would have been some girder beams originally. Could be wrong. It's coming up to the next little place and the site of our next station. station slash halt. I've always called this place Houghton, Great Houghton, so H-O-U-G-H-T-O-N. H-O-U-G-H is spelled how, is that right? And the footpath is starting to climb, so I'm assuming it's headed up to the road. And I think we've actually left the alignment of the track bed as well. I think that's gone in there. It's also climbing as well, but the halt was on this side of the road. I've just seen a car go through, so we're crossing this road on the level, aren't we, as it is today. And I believe that the railway line went underneath. So is this the site of the bridge? I'm assuming where we're standing here, that's infilled and raised, was the site of the old halt. So just by the location where I'm guessing, I'm putting two and two together, I'm guessing the halt down here would have been accessed from the road. This gate looks suspiciously old. Is this something to do with the railway? Really old, rotten, quite substantial post just on that side as well, look. So across the road in Great Houghton, and the path carries on up that way, but in terms of our track bed, it only goes a short way, and then it deviates off by the golf course, which is on this side. And I think as far as our line, our Dearne Valley Railway that we're covering on this series, that's about pretty much all the sections we've covered now that you can actually walk on as a through path legally. And just beyond where we're going towards Grimethorpe, I think I said it Grimethorpe earlier, didn't I? Getting confused with the one in Sheffield. The land's been well, there's nothing more. The railway line's just been completely erased for most of the section. We've got a couple of distribution centres. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to walk back to Goldthorpe, and there's no point walking that way. It's quite a distance up to where I need to be with nothing to see, so I'm going to walk back to the car and drive around to the next point that I want to look at. Okay, we've moved up to the next section now. Each section grimmer than the last, just fly tipping as far as the eye can see. So what I'm going to do now, I've come to the area a couple of miles up from where I've left you last time at Great Houghton, which is in that direction. I'm just going to retrace my steps down. We're not far from Grimethorpe Sidings Junction. Grimethorpe Colliery is over that side. I'm going to retrace my steps back down towards Houghton Junction.
So let's just have a look on the map at what's going on here. We've just jumped from Great Houghton down here up to the entrance to the Grimethorpe Colliery sidings. We're coming up to a very busy area with a few collieries and several lines all making an appearance. So we're still focusing on the green line, moving back towards Houghton Junction, where we'll see this 180-degree curve joining us from the yellow Midland Railway. We'll be showing you more of this very shortly. And this was added in 1966 to allow access to Grimethorpe Colliery from the then busy North Midland line. And this was around the time that our Dearne Valley Railway closed as a through route. I understand that this line was still in use until the 1990s.
So from what I can tell, this was all railway land. I'm not sure if there was sidings around here or not, but look at this. It's covered in ballast. We've got ducting. We'll duct in there, just on the side. It's a bits and bobs. It's like it's the usual thing. It's going to be a case of trying to unpick if anything's railway related in amongst all the fly tipping. I mean, at least this is probably the most disused railway like part that I've walked on the Dearne Valley Railway so far, to be honest with you. Concrete sleeper there, just left lying around. I've just spotted something else over here out the corner of my eye. Look at that. I'm guessing that was a signal. Still got the ladder and the post by the side of it. It's raining again. So this looks pretty fresh, doesn't it, this? I don't know the dates off the top of my head. I'm guessing mid-90s. When did Grimethorpe Colliery close? And that was the 90s, wasn't it? And I know that this new loop, this new link to the Midland line that I'm just walking down here hoping to have a look at was open in 1966. So that post dates when our Dearne Valley Railway closed as a through line. Actually forgot how much I do dislike walking on railway ballast. Ironically. Got a brick, foundations of a brick structure there, and it's like some cabling coming out of the ground as well. Evidence of a telegraph pole there. Something else metal there. I can't get through. See it just sticking up there. It's the bottom of the tree. So I'm guessing that tensioner there is original Dearne Valley Railway. Jeepers, what a mess. Alright, so let's try and get my bearings. So we've got the steel footbridge over the new road. Right, we've got a curve just going off around that way in front, you'll see. I'm going to follow that in a minute. That's the new line. You'll notice that's got the ballast on that we've just been walking down. The Dearne Valley Railway, the through line, came from in that direction. And that's looking back towards where we've come from. So we are walking back on ourselves now, but there's a huge distribution centre plonked right in the way, just at the other side of this road. So there's no railway line to follow if we go back. That's why I've jumped a little bit down the track. Reminder, Dearne Valley Railway opened, I think in this section, I think around 1904. It is maybe even a little bit sooner than that. It is on the old maps. This section, though the other bit closer to Doncaster, is still showing under construction. So that bit's the old bit going off over that way. This curve we're walking around now, I mentioned before, was put in 1966. Now it's following over towards one of the old Midland railways, North Midland line that ran between Swinton, Cudworth, and they put in this loop. They put in this little branch, a short little branch, to just so they could bring the freight traffic. So lots of concrete fittings. We've got a pit there, assuming that's to do with drainage. All the way along there's the concrete fabrications that are smashed up and left. More drainage on that side. Right, we're on the Midland trackbed now, North Midland Railway. So this isn't the Dearne Valley Railway, but it's literally just 100 yards away from the Dearne Valley Railway, and it does link up to it. So I thought it was worth a trip just to come down here and just have a poke about around the junction. I'm not walking down it. Only about a mile in front was me and John, when we came and did our stairfoot to Cudworth video. We walked down this line a bit. righteous weather. So you can see where they tried to block this off, and this was, if you remember, if you've watched that video, I'll leave a link to it. It was a really wide line. It was 4 lines all the way from Swinton all the way up through Cudworth, and this was the Midland Railway's main line up to Leeds. Another little pit there, red brick amongst the ballast. So I'm heading back now, back towards the Dearne Valley Railway, back up to Grimethorpe Junction sidings, Grimethorpe Sidings Junction. Back up to the Grimethorpe Sidings Junction area. It's like for drainage, a lot of drainage ducts feeding into there. So I'm just going the other direction now, heading up further north up the Dearne Valley Railway, and this through the trees, this newly ballasted, well, I say newly 1960s ballasted section, just to see if there's anything further up around the junction, anything left lying around. There's plenty, so much knocking about, bits of concrete, castings and all sorts. There's another pit there. So we are climbing, or that bit's going down, not quite sure which. So we're on a bit of an embankment now. It's getting really dark now. I think we're in for a serious shower. So just checking rail map online. Well, I've just been walking up there. So like I say, we've been assuming we're kind of climbing. You can see the main through route, the old Dearne Valley Railway, going straight off there. Sidings for Grimethorpe Colliery. I'm assuming that's what this little plateau at the bottom is, going off in that direction. We've got the big ASOS, I don't know how you say it, distribution centre just in the distance. I think this, from what I can tell from the map, this used to be a bridge with one of the other lines going in to Grimethorpe Colliery. It's showing as a Midland line on the old maps. So there's a lot of red brick showing on here. Let's see if I can get down. This is quite steep, but it's railway ballast and feels quite firm. Now, is this brick debris remains of that old bridge, I wonder? There is a lot of it, and there's a lot of it at the other side. Sorry, I said that was ASOS. It's not. That's the Symphony one. Sorry, ASOS was behind where we were stood on the loop. My apologies. Quite a few big distribution centres just on this little corridor. Going to see how much further I'll keep walking while I've got a clear path. So that's the track bed up there. Ideally want to get back up on there at some stage, but all this sidings and the line going into the Grimethorpe Colliery. Looking at the map, huge complex. A couple of posts there. Don't know if they're railway related or not. Of course, Grimethorpe Colliery, famous for its brass band, and also the film from the 90s, Ewan McGregor, Brassed Off. Quite relevant to what we're seeing today, because it's a film about the closure of Grimethorpe Colliery, or a story loosely based upon that era. So I've got up on the other side of that missing bridge. It's the embankment, that's the line going off into the distance. Looks a bit marshy, got a little bit of a chasm to get over here. Don't know if I trust that sleeper. I think I'm going to jump. Not a lot to show you up here, to be honest. A couple of bases of some posts. Cutting edge YouTube in this, isn't it? So we're just coming up on the Symphony distribution centre. What is it they do? Beds, mattresses, that sort of thing. I can see from looking at the map that the route we need to take for the railway cuts right through the end of the distribution centre and car park, and pretty much disappears from there. So there's no point going any further down here. There's nothing really to show you anyway. We've had a look, haven't we? Look at that sky. It's just missed us, that.
The last thing to show you today, and that's the site of the former Grimethorpe Halt station. As I showed you a few moments ago, the trackbed north of Grimethorpe Colliery has been developed over, and we can't walk the trackbed from here. However, the bridge where the Dearne Valley Railway crossed under the wonderfully named Engine Lane can still be seen on one side of the road. No remains of the halt are evident these days, but here's a coal train approaching the halt from the Doncaster direction in 1951.
So that's part 4 completed, and we're nearly closing in now on the end of our Dearne Valley Railway story. I think one more episode and that'll be it. So we've just got the area north of Grimethorpe to investigate now, and those junctions around Shafton and Brierley Junction. However, the Dearne Valley Railway story doesn't end there. I always said when I started this series that I was covering the section from Doncaster to Brierley Junction, but well, that's where the actual Dearne Valley Railway does end. It joins up at the junction onto the old Hull and Barnsley Railway, but the trains, the passenger trains should I say, that used to use this line did used to carry on to Wakefield, and there is a little bit more up there that I'm hoping to go and do some more footage on, but I'll explain more about that next time. So cheers for watching, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.